I woke up this morning and the first thing I saw on the news was the reports in regards to what's going on the border. And first of all, as we all know, it's from someone who has a degree in media management. The news and television, entertainment in general, has a way of presenting things that are not necessarily straight, Nonetheless, at the end of the day, both sides are still saying what's going on with these kids is not right. So I could have to ask myself, what's preventing these millionaires or billionaires, for example, why haven't they put in on this? Why haven't they just gone and just be like, man, these kids don't got toothpaste and toilet paper and soap and things of that nature, blankets, whatever, beds. I got $1 billion, I'm gonna donate 100 million. You would think that would be immediately. So that was one of my questions, and in regards to that, I realized, because I was getting on these girls, I was getting on Whoopi, man, because she was talking that ish, and I get it, but at the same time, it's like, if I got millions, that's not happening on the border. These kids are going to have water, they're going to have the bare necessities. Doesn't mean they're going to have the freshest kicks, they're going to have the nicest clothes or whatnot, but they're going to be taken care of. Which leads me to my next point. Come to find out, you can't donate anything. People have actually tried to donate. Not only have they tried to donate money, they're trying to donate things like diapers, formula, soap, toothbrushes, so on and so forth. And I thought that would be an easy solution. Like most people I know, not all people, but there's good-hearted people out there that, especially when it comes to kids, they don't want to see that. So people were bringing stuff like that. Well, it turns out the Border Patrol, because they're a government agency, they're employed by the federal government, they can't accept those things, which makes absolutely no sense. You would think that would be an easy solution to a problem, Well, it turns out the reason why they can't accept your donation, my donation, if we go to the border and we drop off diapers or we drop off whatever, milk, formula, they're gonna deny it because of an act, like the Stamped Act, the T Act. Those of us that are historians. And this act is called and I'll wait for this plane to fly by. This act is called the Anti-Deficiency Act. It's anti-deficiency. They're against being deficient. What does that mean? And not to get too nerdy on y'all, but I'm going to just read it. So it prohibits the federal agencies from obligations or expending federal funds in advance or in excess of an appropriation, and from accepting voluntary services. So in layman's terms, the government is allocated, they're only allowed to spend so much money in regards to certain issues, whether that's a storm, whether that's education, whether that's whatever. It could be multiple things. Well, in terms of this, what's going on the border, there's only a certain amount of money allocated to provide for these people. And which is why it's amazing to me that both sides can't get on the same page and say they need to oversee this or override that. Or even President Trump, he can do it. He can override everybody from what I understand. But in order to do that, you're required to do certain things, and there's certain things that that has to meet the standard. So you can't just be like, I don't agree with that, so let's change it. There has to be validation and reasons. So upon reading here, I'll keep reading here, prohibits federal employees from accepting voluntary services. So you can't go donate your time. I'm sure people have tried to do that. Like, let me help out. Can't do that for the United States. Or employing personal services by anybody, right? By law. However, here's the key word. Okay, this is the whole point of this. Except in cases of emergency involving the safety of human life and protection of property. If this is an emergency, if this isn't involving human life, what's it involving? So I say all that to say, where do we go from here? Those of you that really want to get behind that, I'm about that. Like, when I seen that, it's like, if I could do something to help out these kids out there, don't matter what side. Again, it doesn't matter in terms of politics, put that aside for now. Even though you do got to take into consideration the reason why we're not taking care of them on a certain level, but they deserve the necessities. Who doesn't? You deserve the necessities in life, and especially if you're a child, you deserve that. You got that right. If you're an adult, it is what it is. You made your choice to come over here. These kids didn't necessarily make that choice, but that's another topic. So nonetheless, those of you that see this and you're like, you know what do we need to do? Because the city council from Goleta is right here. And I'm thinking we got to basically get the word out to people who are at that level, who work for these offices that most of us are really unfamiliar with, and demand that this is the people of the United States, the America. We demand this to be taken care of. You got to remember, they work for us. So anybody out there that understands that, has the patience to watch this, because it's just straight up talk, you and me, holler at me. And if we could do something in my town, let me know, because I want people to know at the end of the day, Goleta supports these kids, man. We're behind that. So if you got connections out here, or you can point us in the right direction. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels like this. I just might be the only one speaking on it. But I speak, sometimes people speak for a multiple of people and voices. And if that's the case, then so be it. All right, peace.